Adam Silver is about to do something no one saw coming, and Cathy Engelbert's job may not survive it. Stay till the end because what happens in the next 10 minutes could change the entire future of the WNBA. Welcome back to WNBA Analysis, the channel where we don't sugarcoat anything. If you think the WNBA is just having a rough patch, you are about to find out just how wrong that is. Because behind the scenes, insiders are saying the quiet part out loud. This league is in crisis, and the man who runs the NBA might be the only one who can save it. It is very, very clear and apparent that something has to be done in the WNBA. We are about to head into the second half of the season, but so far the first half has been filled with negative drama, ugly headlines, and a league that, frankly, looks like a complete circus. Commissioner Cathy Engelbert clearly cannot handle the job. That opening statement alone tells you everything you need to know about where the WNBA stands right now. Something has to be done. Not, something should be done. Not, something might be done. Has to be done. And when you hear that level of urgency, you know we are far past the point of polite suggestions. The league is in crisis mode, and the person who is supposed to be steering the ship, Commissioner Cathy Engelbert, is losing control of the narrative, the players, and increasingly the confidence of the people who matter most. And here is the part nobody wants to say out loud. This is the moment NBA Commissioner Adam Silver is about to step in. The signs have been building for months. He already inserted himself directly into the Caitlin Clark, Alyssa Thomas situation, and that alone tells you the current commissioner does not have a real pulse on what's happening inside her own league. The lack of professionalism shown on the court, and off it, throughout the first half of this season simply cannot continue into the second half. Negative drama. Nasty headlines. A complete circus and clown show. Those aren't just outside opinions. That's how people inside the WNBA ecosystem are describing the first half of the season. And here's what makes it so damning. This was supposed to be the WNBA's coronation moment. Caitlin Clark arrives as the most hyped rookie in league history. Viewership shatters records. The mainstream sports world is finally paying attention. And instead, the league spends 4 straight months stepping on rakes, creating controversy where none needed to exist, and letting interpersonal drama completely overshadow what's happening on the court. That is a leadership failure at the highest level. 1 minute she's a normal player getting normal minutes. The next minute she's on a minutes restriction. The restriction never comes off, until suddenly it does. Then her performance drops and nobody can explain why. It has been a circus from start to finish. All the brutal on-court attacks, all the ugly headlines that piled up early in the season, pulled the spotlight completely away from good basketball. And this league cannot keep operating this way. It needs to actually function like a professional business, which is exactly why Adam Silver has already inserted himself. He has already stepped into the Engelbert-Clark situation. Now we're getting to the heart of the matter. Caitlin Clark's back injury became the perfect microcosm of everything wrong with WNBA operations right now. 1 minute, normal minutes. The next, a restriction that was never properly explained to fans or media. The restriction disappears, then reappears, then her play drops off, and nobody from the league office or the Fever organization can give a coherent timeline or medical explanation. Compare that to how the NBA handles injuries. Detailed reports, consistent updates, clear communication protocols. By comparison, the WNBA looked amateur. And if you're trying to convince corporate sponsors and TV networks you're a major professional league, amateur hour simply does not cut it. But the injury confusion was only one symptom of a much larger disease. The brutal physical targeting Caitlin faced all season, the Chindi Carter body check, the Alyssa Thomas throat gesture, the constant hard fouls, all of it happened while Commissioner Engelbert appeared paralyzed, unable or unwilling to take decisive action to protect the league's biggest star and most valuable asset. And that was just the beginning. Silver is now expected to be fully monitoring league operations. There's even an NBA-style replay center reportedly coming. There's a lot going on, and Cathy simply isn't built for this level of pressure. There's a New York Times piece worth digging into here because it makes an important point. Yes, the business is thriving under Engelbert, so why can't she escape the criticism? The honest answer is that the business is only thriving because of Caitlin Clark's arrival, and that growth will not continue at this pace with the league being run the way it currently is. Think about it seriously. We've had entire relationships airing out publicly. DeWanna Bonner, Angel Reese, Alyssa Thomas. The list keeps growing. And Adam Silver is stepping in to clean it up. This is the smoking gun that proves Silver's intervention is already underway. He didn't just casually mention the Alyssa Thomas incident at a press conference. He was directly involved in the disciplinary process. Think about what that actually means. The NBA commissioner personally inserting himself into a WNBA disciplinary matter. That does not happen unless the WNBA commissioner has lost control of the situation so completely that the parent organization had to step in to prevent further damage. Silver wasn't even subtle about it. When asked directly at CNBC's Game Plan Summit, he gave the classic political non-answer. He wasn't going to comment because it wouldn't be fair to Caitlyn or to Cathy. Translation? Yes, I was involved. Yes, it was serious enough to require my attention. And yes, the very fact that I had to get involved tells you everything about the current state of WNBA leadership. He protected Engelbert publicly while quietly undermining her authority just by acknowledging the question existed. Now let's talk about the dating drama, because it represents another massive failure of professional standards under Engelbert's watch. Public relationship fallout between players, allegations of infidelity playing out on social media, would be unthinkable in any other major professional sports league. Not because athletes don't date each other, but because well-run organizations have clear boundaries, conduct standards, and consequences for airing personal grievances publicly in ways that damage the brand. In most Fortune 500 companies, workplace relationships require HR disclosure, precisely to avoid these situations. The WNBA under Engelbert has no such structure, no such enforcement, and apparently no such standards. Players are treating the league like a reality show, and the commissioner seems powerless to build the kind of professional culture that would stop this from becoming headline news. According to reporting from The Athletic, a dozen league sources were contacted for one particular story, and almost all of them refused to comment, even anonymously. Think about that. These are team officials and league employees with direct knowledge of how the organization functions, and they are too afraid of retaliation or too protective of relationships to say anything on record. That level of silence is not normal inside a healthy organization. It suggests either a toxic culture where speaking truth to power has real consequences, or a situation so politically fraught that nobody wants to be the first to say the emperor has no clothes. Either way, it's a damning reflection of Engelbert's leadership style and the culture she has created. One anonymous team official put it bluntly, "If we're going to make a move, we should make a move. If not, we need some leadership." That is not a ringing endorsement of the current commissioner. That is a high-ranking team official essentially saying, "We are stuck in limbo. Either fire her or fully empower her," but this middle ground, where she holds the title without real authority or respect, is killing us. The leadership vacuum is the real crisis here. The WNBA is experiencing unprecedented growth, unprecedented attention, unprecedented opportunity, and nobody is truly in charge. Nobody is making the hard calls. Nobody is setting clear standards and enforcing them consistently. When a leadership vacuum meets a period of explosive growth, chaos fills the gap. And chaos is exactly what we have watched unfold. Adam Silver appointed Engelbert in 2019, giving her the title of commissioner, a title no previous WNBA leader had ever held. It was meant as a testament to her resume, highlighted by her time as CEO of Deloitte, one of the largest business consulting firms in the world. But the WNBA's Board of Governors' lack of direct involvement in her hiring has left an open question. Who exactly does she report to? Throughout her tenure, there have been repeated signs of Silver's direct involvement in major business decisions, several of them in just the past year. Silver has acknowledged that although he wasn't at the table for the contentious WNBA-CBA negotiations, he was playing a role behind the scenes. And more recently, he was reportedly involved in the disciplinary process surrounding Phoenix Mercury forward Alyssa Thomas. The irony here is almost painful. Engelbert walked into this job with an incredible resume, CEO of Deloitte, one of the world's largest consulting firms. On paper, she looked exactly like what the WNBA needed. Someone with corporate credibility who could speak the language of sponsors and network executives. But here's what that Deloitte experience never prepared her for. Managing personalities, handling public controversy in real time, making split-second calls on player discipline, and navigating a league that sits at the intersection of sports, social justice, and gender politics. Running a consulting firm is about process, analysis, and consensus building. Running a sports league is about decisiveness, managing egos, and understanding that sometimes doing the right thing means making someone unhappy. The fact that there's genuine confusion about who Engelbert reports to is itself a massive red flag. Either she is the commissioner with full authority and accountability, or she isn't. Right now, she's stuck in a strange middle ground, responsibility without power, which is the worst possible position for any executive to be in. And it's bad for business. All of this dating drama, all of this public fallout, it is bad for business, full stop. Until the league brings in someone who can get a real grip on this thing and run it professionally, the problems will keep compounding. Right now, the WNBA has a genuine worldwide international superstar in Caitlin Clark. This is the opportunity to legitimize the entire league. And instead, we got a chaotic all-star weekend and back-to-back underwhelming showcase games. Somebody has to step in and fix this. The all-star weekend disaster perfectly captures everything wrong with Engelbert's tenure. Standing at center court after the Commissioner's Cup final, she took the microphone to congratulate the winning team, and was booed so loudly her voice was nearly drowned out, live on national television. The fans, the very people supposedly benefiting from all this growth, openly expressed their contempt for league leadership in front of the entire basketball world. That doesn't happen in a vacuum. Fans boo commissioners for specific reasons. Because decisions hurt the fan experience, because players they care about weren't protected, because the league started feeling more like a circus than a professional sports organization. And it wasn't a one-time thing, the booing has become a pattern. That means it isn't just one disgruntled fan base reacting to one bad night. It's a systemic loss of confidence from the league's core audience. And once you've lost the room like that, it is nearly impossible to win it back. So where does the WNBA go from here? Because that is truly what matters as we move into the second half of the season and start looking ahead to next year. The league stands at a genuine crossroads. It can either capitalize on this once-in-a-generation wave of attention, or it can squander the opportunity through continued dysfunction. Adam Silver's growing involvement is both a blessing and a curse. On one hand, he brings credibility, decisiveness, and decades of experience running the most successful basketball league on the planet. His intervention in the Alyssa Thomas situation likely prevented an even bigger PR disaster. His quiet involvement in the CBA negotiations likely kept those talks from collapsing entirely. On the other hand, every single time Silver has to step in, it further erodes Engelbert's authority and makes it harder for her to ever establish real credibility of her own. The core question the Board of Governors has to answer is simple. Do they genuinely believe Cathy Engelbert can grow into this role, or has the past several years already proven she isn't the right person for this exact moment? Because this moment demands something special. The WNBA has never experienced this level of mainstream attention, corporate interest, or explosive growth potential. Caitlin Clark's arrival is a once-in-a-generation chance to fundamentally transform the league's business model and cultural relevance. But capturing that opportunity requires strong leadership, clear vision, and the ability to make hard calls quickly and decisively. Someone willing to enforce professional standards even when it means disciplining a popular player or upsetting vocal constituencies. Compare that to how Adam Silver handled his first real crisis as NBA Commissioner back in 2014, the Donald Sterling scandal. Within days, Silver investigated, held a press conference, banned Sterling for life, and forced the sale of the franchise. It was fast, it was decisive, and it sent an unmistakable message about the values of the league under his leadership. That is what strong commissioner leadership actually looks like. Now ask yourself, what has been Engelbert's defining moment? What single decision has she made that demonstrated clear, decisive leadership and set the tone for the entire league? Honestly, there hasn't been one. Instead, we've watched hesitation, equivocation, and a repeated pattern of letting situations spiral until outside intervention becomes unavoidable. Looking ahead to the rest of the season, something has to give. The status quo simply isn't sustainable. If Engelbert stays on as commissioner, she needs to be given clear, full authority, and held directly accountable for restoring order. That means the Board of Governors needs to either fully back her or replace her. This halfway approach, where Adam Silver keeps quietly intervening behind the scenes, isn't working for anyone. Not the league, not the players, and certainly not the fans. The stakes here could not be higher. Caitlin Clark's rookie season opened a window of opportunity that will not stay open forever. Casual fans who tuned in because of the Clark hype will only stick around if the product feels professional, if the storylines are about basketball instead of off-court drama, and if the league proves it's serious about competing for their attention. Every single week of continued chaos is another week of potential fans deciding this isn't worth their time. And the players who show up, do the work, and represent the league with class deserve so much better than watching their sport get buried under headlines about relationship drama. Look, if you made it this far, that tells me something. You care about this league. You want to see it succeed. You don't want to watch Caitlin Clark's rookie season, the biggest opportunity women's basketball has ever had, get wasted because of leadership that can't get out of its own way. And honestly, that's exactly why this channel exists. We're not here to just repeat headlines. We're here to actually break down what's happening honestly without an agenda. So if this video meant something to you, if you're as invested in the future of this league as we are, do us a real favor. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and join the WNBA analysis family. It genuinely helps us keep bringing you this kind of breakdown, and it means more than you know. We're building something here together, and we'd love for you to be part of it. Drop a comment and let us know. Do you think Cathy Engelbert survives the second half of this season? We'll see you in the next one.